A federal judge right here in New York has restored DACA and ordered the Department of Homeland Security to accept first-time applicants from immigrants. So what does that mean? When Donald Trump came into the White House, what he did was he stopped young men and women who would have otherwise been eligible for DACA from applying for DACA if they had not already done so. He also tried to wind down the entire DACA program. He also prevented DACA recipients from getting some benefits that they were getting under Barack Obama, such as advanced parole travel, to travel home for a short period of time and come back. The federal judge has ordered DACA to go back to what it was pre-Donald Trump. So if you had qualified for DACA, but you just never got around to applying for it, you can still do it now. What do you need? You need to either have a GED, have a high school diploma, or be in a GED program. That's number one. Number two, you had to be under the age of 16 and in the United States on June 15th, 2007. Number three, you had to be under the age of 31 on June 15th, 2012. If you qualify under those scenarios, you would most likely, unless you have some sort of criminal record that would prevent you from getting benefits, you would most likely, well, you definitely would be, get your DACA. What is DACA? DACA is Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. It's a promise from the U.S. government not to deport you. They give you a work permit. With the work permit, you can get a Social Security number. You can get a driver's license. You can now get advanced parole. Even if you were already denied advance parole, you already have DACA and you were denied, you should try it again now, because now you're going to be able to do so. And the reason why is because the head of the Department of Homeland Security, everything, the federal judge says everything he's doing is illegal. Why? Because he was never confirmed by the U.S. Senate. Donald Trump put him into the head of the Department of Homeland Security, but never, he just didn't care. He just said, you know what, you're never going to get confirmed by the Senate. And because he never got confirmed by the Senate, everything that comes out of the Department of Homeland Security in terms of regulation changes, they're all getting struck down by judges. And when you think about it, the federal judge that struck it down was appointed by Bill Clinton. These days, Donald Trump, one of the things that the Republicans are most proud about, what Donald Trump did, is he installed about 150 federal judges. If you don't think that matters, that matters. The DAPA program, the Deferred Action for Parent Arrivals, that was the program that Obama did that allowed parents who had children here the same benefits as the DACA recipients. That was struck down in Texas by Republican judges. Here, DACA in New York was reaffirmed by Democratic judges. So if you don't think that who the president is and who they get to put in to judgeships is not important, it is. You know, there could be, you know, arguments one way or the other to say, you know, because once you're a judge for life.
Yeah.
You know, maybe a judge should have term limits.
Yep.
The reason for term limits would be is because, you know, maybe you shouldn't be a judge for life, number one.
Right.
Number two, because you are a judge for life, you know, after you get past 50 years old, you can be a very, very well qualified judge. Maybe the best qualified judge, but no one's going to nominate you because the president wants to have lasting impact. So why would they nominate a judge who's closer to retirement or death? They all, you know, you're all nominating young people. So if you notice, even the two people who were nominated to the Supreme Court by President Trump, Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett, both were under, Amy Coney Barrett's under 50, and I think Brett Kavanaugh may well be too. And if he's not under 50, he's maybe 51 or 52. Both very, very young. But what's most important is, you know, because I already spoke to 3 clients whose children never applied for DACA, and now they'll be able to. So that's really nice.
That's good.
Yeah. So
at least happy news.
That's happy news.
Yeah.
That's happy news. Now, BuzzFeed reported several weeks ago that ICE is going to start enforcing their new regulations under Donald Trump. The regulation that they want to enforce mostly is that if you entered the country without inspection, you are still considered at the border and have not been admitted unless you evade immigration for 2 years. So it actually, it's a dumb law. It actually rewards you for evading immigration. So if you, not people who came on visitors visas, this is about people who entered without inspection. So if you entered without inspection, you can't prove how you came to the United States of America under new regulations by Donald Trump, then for the first 2 years, unless you can prove you've been in the U.S. for more than 2 years, you get summary removal. Summary removal is you don't get to see an immigration judge. You don't get to fight to be able to stay here. Literally, immigration can pick you off the street and send you home.
Sheesh.
Okay? So if you're an immigrant, you got to make sure in order to get constitutional rights. Now, basically what Trump says is if you enter the country without inspection, unless you evade the law authorities for at least 2 years, you have no constitutional rights. Because Department of Homeland Security and ICE could literally pick you off the street and send you home.
Wow.
Now, without scaring you, those are people who entered without inspection. If you came on a visitor's visa and overstayed, that's a different story. You have constitutional rights. You were inspected at the airport. You have a right to see a judge. So that's the new law that's going into effect. So when people say, I heard immigration is picking people off the streets, in a way, they may be. Now, this is supposed to start, they're supposed to start enforcing these new rules on December 22nd. BuzzFeed reported on it. Immigration was not going to be promoting that they were going to do it. They were just going to start doing it. Now, because BuzzFeed was able to find the emails going back and forth between the head of Department of Homeland Security, basically starting to enforce these rules, they published proof of all of this. Now, ICE, they weren't too happy. So they subpoenaed BuzzFeed for all of the documents and emails that they got that they used to publish what is in fact this truth that the Department of Homeland Security is going to start, taking people off the street unless you can prove you've been here for more than 2 years or prove you came here on a visa and overstayed. Then you get to see a judge.
And BuzzFeed has a big audience and a variety of ages, a young audience. I mean, I check into BuzzFeed. That's like one of my sources, one of the platforms, mainly for entertainment, not so much like world news. But yeah.
Right.
So there's two issues that play into this. One is freedom of the press. Okay. Since when could ICE start subpoenaing press about their sources and where they got their sources and where they got their information? So BuzzFeed rightfully.
You gotta be kidding me. That's 3 gallons of bullshit in a 2-gallon bucket.
Rightfully said that back to ICE. Said that's bullshit. But in nicer words, they wrote, BuzzFeed News emphatically rejects any request for information about possible sources and methods of our reporting. They can't get that, ICE. What makes them think that? And then number two, I don't know what's going to happen. But if Chad Wolf, who's the head of the Department of Homeland Security, if he nothing that he does has any authority because he was never put in by the Senate and confirmed by the Senate, I would assume that when immigration starts picking people up, lawyers are going to start filing what's called habeas corpus petitions. Habeas corpus petitions are that you are illegally holding somebody or illegally, an APA, it would be under habeas corpus and APA, you're illegally holding somebody and you are following rules and procedures against authorized rules and procedures, because the rules and procedures are if you're here out of status, you get to see an immigration judge. You don't just get thrown across the border. So I assume that, lawyers will be in federal court for that as well. And they're going to make the same argument. This guy, Chad Wolf, had no right to change the rules. He was never confirmed by the U.S. Senate. Luckily for immigrants, and, Donald Trump only has till January 20th. So he has about 45 days or even less right now. So because he has 45 or less days, you don't have to be good about evading immigration for the next 2 years, just for the next 45 days.
Right. I know they are happy though.
You ma-
I would be so happy.
can you imagine being rewarded for being able to evade the law? That's how stupid of a rule is that? You know
Yeah.
what? We're going to reward you by giving you your constitutional rights if you're really good at evading the law. But if you're
Right.
not
Wow.
good at evading
Perfect
the
sense.
law, if you're not good at evading the law, then you get deported. I guess that's Donald Trump's way of saying we only want the best and brightest here. The best and
Right.
brightest people would know how to evade
Right.
the law for 2 years because according to Donald Trump's been evading the law his entire life. Yes.
So like
Absolutely.
by January 20th though, so when the new president comes, does all this go away?
No, because it's impossible to change
Takes time.
every rule and every regulation on day one. He would
Right.
be signing papers. He would have blisters on his fingers.
Right.
It's going to take a very long time to unwind and undo what Trump did.
So this is literally his way of, and I feel like that's why he did it so late then, maybe. Is this his way of kind of like still having a little stamp, a little sprinkle of Trumpism in the White House,
Yeah.
even after he leaves?
Yeah, well, he has been making regulation changes in such large numbers now, more than ever.
That's what-
Executive orders just in these last
Yeah.
couple months.
I feel like I've heard more changes within
Yeah.
this past like couple months than I have
Than
this
in
whole
4
president.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Meanwhile, your friend and my friend, Vanessa, Rudy Giuliani, your very close friend,
Oh,
and Donald Trump's personal attorney, he is hospitalized after testing positive for COVID. The 76-year-old was
Oh.
admitted to Georgetown University Hospital on Sunday. Now, he appeared to confirm his positive diagnosis hours after it was announced on Twitter by Trump by tweeting that he's getting great care and feeling great. Feeling good, not great. There have been no additional details provided about his condition. We don't know if he's doing well, if he's not doing well. And the thing with COVID, that's him when he found out he had COVID. The thing with COVID, no, I'm only making a joke, I don't know. But the thing with COVID, you know, Mr. Giuliani, you have COVID, and then that's the picture.
and
they
that
took.
face.
Yeah, and that face.
Right.
But the thing with COVID is that you can be feeling great 1 minute and then really go down the tubes the next. That's why it's so
That's the
important.
scary part.
That's a really scary part. It's really why it's so important that if you feel anything other than, you know, some aches and pains from COVID, you should definitely be going to the hospital because, you know, there's so many instances and people that I've heard who neglected to go and got really sick or knew people who died because they went too late. You know, because you say
Yeah.
you
So
feel good,
crazy.
you feel good. Oh, you know, it's like the flu. I feel, and then all of a sudden, you go straight downhill, really, really
Right.
fast. So,
Yeah.
you know,
And
everybody's
it
got to be.
happened, like you said, really fast.
Yeah, and everybody's got to be careful. And to be honest with you, you know, I don't wish the man harm. I don't want anybody to die. But certainly he has not been a very good ambassador for wearing a mask.
No,
He appeared maskless while traveling the country in recent weeks to advance Trump's baseless claims of election fraud, and he may have spread the virus among other public officials. Now, Giuliani's diagnosis also further undercuts Trump's frequently repeated and misleading claim that the United States is rounding the corner. It ain't rounding the corner. It's not rounding the corner at all.
Right. Right.
And by the way, just about everybody in that White House now has come down with COVID. Just about everybody.
No surprise there.
And I was just
Yep.
reading, you know, that people say, you know, I don't believe, you know, what the scientists are saying. They're always changing their mind. Da, 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 da. And 1 minute here, and then 1 minute they say masks work, and then they say masks only work for, you know, for the person who's sick from giving it to you. Now they say if you wear a mask, you can be prevented from getting it as well. It works both ways. And you know what I say to everybody about that? Science is ever evolving. They learn more and more every week and every
Yep.
month.
This is true.
All right. So when people say, I don't believe the scientists, you know, remember when they had to spring the Amazon boxes when they were coming in? You know, now we
Yeah.
can't get it from the Amazon. They learn.
They learn.
And
I
as
mean-
as you learn, you change what you're telling the public.
Right.
And
They act like people act like scientists should just know it off the top of their head, like
exactly.
without even
Right.
research and stuff.
Like magic.
And what they've learned more than anything else is if you're wearing a mask and you're sick, obviously you won't give it to others. But also, if you're wearing a mask, it is extraordinarily less likely that you'll get it from somebody who is sick.
Right.
So it works both ways. It works
Yeah.
both
Better safe than
ways.
sorry.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Right.
meanwhile, talking about COVID, 14.8 million people have been diagnosed with COVID in America. The U.S. is nearing an average of 200,000 new COVID cases every day. In New York City, schools have remained open. However, the city is set a purposefully low threshold for shutting the school buildings again. As of midnight this morning, millions of Californians are under new lockdown orders, and the Navajo Nation has implemented another 3-week lockdown. Some European countries are discussing a different safety measure, immunity passports, which allow for travel if one has successfully recovered from COVID. Hungary has implemented them for months, and other countries like Iceland could soon follow suit. Meanwhile, in the United States, coronavirus stimulus talks continued through the weekend, but Congress is still hung up on a few things. I hope they do it. I hope they do that stimulus. People need it. People need it.
Yeah.
The UK has started vaccinating people with the coronavirus vaccine that was made by Pfizer. It is expected in the United States that the Pfizer vaccine is going to be approved for use Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, somewhere in less than 7 days. I don't know if it's going to be Friday or Saturday. And then what's going to happen is the first doses are going to go to the elderly and infirmed in nursing homes. Those are the people most likely to die. God forbid you get COVID. If you're trying to set, you're trying, there's no right answer. Who should get it first? But if the right answer is you want to save as many lives as possible, and that's the most important thing, then you give it to the elderly in the nursing homes.
Right.
A lot of them don't have a lot of life left, but why should even a week or 2 weeks, or why should they lose even months of life?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree. I mean, especially because they would be, the ones that are affected the most. I feel like with, like underlying health concerns, that mostly it's the older people that have that. Of course, there's still some that are young that have it, but at least our immune system is strong enough. Like I have high blood pressure and I got COVID and I didn't even feel like I had it. I had a worse cold. I had colds worse than it. So I agree. Yeah. But I do want to see how it's going to affect them.
Let's talk fuzzies. A Tiger King bill has passed the House of Representatives. Did you see this? A bill passed by the U.S. House of Representatives would outlaw private ownership of big cats. The law was dubbed the Tiger King bill after the viral Netflix show of the same name was passed by the U.S. House of Representatives 272 to 114. The show's star, Joseph Maldonado Passage, a.k.a. Joe Exotic, is currently serving 22 years in prison. Do you think Trump is going to pardon him?
22?
22 years in prison. You think Trump will pardon him?
Wow.
He believes he will get pardoned.
He believes he will?
Yes.
Wow.
The Big Cat Public Safety Act, the bill's official title, would effectively ban the breeding and ownership of a big cat without a license from the United States Department of Agriculture. The bill drew criticism from Republicans saying that it would hurt small family-run businesses. Carol Baskin, a longtime rival of Joe Exotic, who runs a big cat sanctuary in Florida, touted her involvement with the bill in a post on her website, writing that her current husband was on weekly calls with members of the coalition. She wrote, "We are rallying the tens of millions of supporters of our collective organizations to contact their members of Congress." I have to say one thing. I watched. You watch Tiger King?
I did watch it.
We watched Tiger King.
I think this Carol Baskin has some underlying reasons for doing this. She wants to put everybody else out of business and just be the only tiger sanctuary in the United States. So it is to her benefit that this bill passes.
Selfish in that.
It could also be the benefit of the
Like-
tigers.
I think it's more for the
Questionable.
benefit of
Questionable, Brad.
right. More
Right.
for the benefit
Right.
of her pocket.
Maybe.
I mean,
Do you
we all
agree
know what
with
she'll
it?
do to a
Do you,
spouse.
do you agree with this bill?
Ah.
Do I agree?
Because I would agree with the bill that nobody should own a tiger. But this is not that
agree with
nobody
that.
should own a tiger. It's no one should own a tiger
Right.
unless it's approved by the United States Department of Agriculture.
Well, I agree with nobody should own a tiger.
I agree with that one. Now,
Because, yeah, they don't deserve to be in those little cages. Do you see that big old lion in that
Yeah.
small cage
It's sad.
behind Carol Baskin? Look
Yeah,
at that
very
picture.
sad.
A lion is a king of a jungle.
It's very
Look-
sad.
What's the
at the size
kingdom
of that
of like? Nah, I don't think they should own any of them.
I agree. And by the way, speaking of cat rescues, Atlanta rapper Sterling Davis was on a break from a tour when he applied for a job at the country shelter scooping kitty litter. Davis said he just wanted to stay busy and make a little money, plus he's always loved animals like his cat at the time, Rick James. He told Today, I did horrible in the interview because they had
Whoa.
cats in the room and I was playing with all the cats, kissing all the cats. Davis started helping shelter employees with trap neuter return cases. Now, while Davis learned about trap neuter return cases, he came to another realization. He said, at the county shelter, there were no men and no black people that worked in the cat department. Davis realized he had a new calling. He let his band know he would not be coming back on tour. Instead, he was going to devote all his time to cat rescue. You ever hear this rapper, Sterling Davis?
No.
Yeah.
You have?
Sterling Davis.
Yeah. Well,
No, I haven't,
The
and this
name
is
sounds
probably why.
familiar.
Well, he gave up his career.
That's what I'm about to say. That's probably why he gave it up, because nobody knows of him.
I don't know.
Okay.
I
You
can't
don't
say
see-
I know him,
I'm
but
searching
I'm
it.
not a rapper aficionado, so you know.
Well, I've definitely not heard of him, and you won't see Kanye West give up his career to take care of cats. So
Meanwhile,
maybe if he had a little bit more fame, then it would be a different story.
Meanwhile, Dr. Amir Khalil, he's an Egyptian-born veterinarian who works with the Vienna-based animal welfare group Four Paws International. He's been rescuing animals from condemned zoos and conflict zones for more than 2 decades. Now he can add moving an elephant by plane between countries during a deadly global pandemic to his resume. Khalil led the team this week that transferred a 37-year-old male Asian elephant named Kavan from confinement in a zoo in Islamabad, Pakistan, to a conservation park in Cambodia. It was a very difficult mission, logistically and politically. The health and safety of the team were the main priority. Caravan arrived in Pakistan as a 1-year-old calf, a state gift during military rule in the 1980s, after the dictator's young daughter expressed a fondness for baby elephants. He ended up in the zoo where he spent the next 3 decades, chained and mistreated. Kavan's mate, a female elephant named Shelley, died. Her body was left lying with Kavan for days before it was taken away. He has been alone ever since, earning him the nickname of the world's loneliest elephant. Khalil says that when he first met Kavan in 2016 during a visit to assess the condition of the zoo and its animals, the elephant was aggressive, depressed, and obese. Not after his visit, American pop legend Cher learned of Kavan's situation, and along with her charity Free the Wild and other animal rights groups, she launched a campaign to close the Islamabad Zoo. A Pakistani court finally ordered the zoo's closure in May and put Khalil in charge of figuring out where and how to relocate Kavan. He recommended relocating Kavan to Cambodia's Kuala Lumpur Wildlife Sanctuary, a facility with over 30,000 acres. The park has 3 female elephant residents, and they will be important for Kavan's rehabilitation and socialization. The entire process to transfer Kavan cost $400,000. Social media was abuzz with photos and videos showing Kavan taking his very first steps out of the transport crate and into his new home on Monday night, a moment Khalil called great because I had a very special bond with this elephant. Khalil said he was able to calm Kavan during the transport by singing. Khalil said Kavan loves the Frank Sinatra song My Way, so he sang it to him, saying, I have an ugly voice, very bad, but I only have one fan, Kavan the elephant, and that's all I needed.
Oh, that's sweet.
I did it my way. That's all I know of the song. You know any other
Okay,
part?
I thought you was going to keep going.
That's all I know. Do you know any other way? Any other part?
No.
No, that's definitely the only.
Is that the only part you know?
I don't even know that song.
You don't know Frank Sinatra? You know
What?
that
I know
song.
Frank Sinatra.
I did it my
song.
way, but that's all I know.
Yeah.
Maybe the way you're singing it, I got to hear it.
Yeah, because I can't sing.
Right. He was. That's what was coming next, Yo-Yo. He was gonna hit the high note.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if you're tired of looking at your dog's backside, this is the news for you. You might need rear gear.
Here it goes.
A Portland, Oregon company is selling tags that you hang on your dog or cat's tail to cover up their rear. They're called, what else? Rear gear, and their sales slogan is "No more Mr. Brown Eye." The company says with these tags, you can pretend your dog is not a living,
my
pooping
gosh.
animal. Oh, come on. That's
No.
dumb. That's dumb.
That's so dumb.
That's so dumb.
So what? How about when they caca? What are you supposed to do?
It's going to be dirty. That thing's going to smell. That's just dumb.
This was not
Man.
good.
So
It's $6, but for $20 you can customize it with your dog's name on it. That's dumb.
I'm good. What is that? Look at that.
That's not cool. No one's putting flowers on our tushes.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Crazy.
in New York, they found an owl in the Christmas tree. Remember?
Yes.
But in Australia, animal rescuers were summoned to the home of a woman who found a koala in her Christmas tree. The Adelaide and
What?
Hills Koala Rescue, said the hotline operator initially thought they were being pranked when Amanda McCormick called to report finding a koala bear
What?
climbing the Christmas tree.
That small tree?
Yeah, inside of her home. The rescue posted on Facebook, but no, a koala
The
desperate to
koala's
get.
bigger than the tree.
Yeah, the koala was desperate to get in the Christmas spirit. They had wandered into Amanda's house, decided it wanted to be the fairy on the Christmas tree. The female koala was eventually returned to the outdoors, and the Christmas tree was completed with a fake.
And everyone lives happily.
And everybody ever lives happily ever after. Researchers from Hungary are holding the Genius Dog Challenge. What a genius one to pick, Nesquik, which pits 6 of the world's smartest dogs against one another to show who is the smartest dog in the world. The event finishes on Wednesday, December 16th, and is going to be live streamed on YouTube and Facebook. Dr. Claudia Fageza, a canine behavior researcher in Budapest, told CNN the Genius Dog Challenge is part of a bigger research project on language, learning, and processing in dogs. She said, "We have been searching for the past 2.5 years for dogs that showed the ability to learn object names. We found that this seems to be a rare skill. While most dogs struggle to learn even only a few names, some rare dogs seem to be very talented at this and can learn multiple object names very easily." The first stage of the contest gives the contestants 1 week to learn the name of 6 toys, and the second stage will double the number to see if they can learn the name of 12 toys.
Man.
One dog, a 2-year-old Gaia from Brazil. What is a Gaia? Is that a Gaia? Gaia? I don't know what a Gaia looks like. Knows the name of more than 80 toys. That's a smart dog.
Right.
That's impressive.
I don't even know the name of 80 toys. I don't know if I can name 80 toys. If you put 80 toys in front of me and they're like, pick the
ball.
I don't know. What's the rattle
That's
ball?
it.
I don't know. I mean, this could be the rattle ball. That could be the rattle ball. I don't know.
Right.
And then Max, who is a 2-year-old, lives in Budapest, already knows the names of over 100 toys.
Wow.
So what we've learned is that there is such a thing as a smart dog. Sometimes you have dogs, you're like, my dog's the smartest dog in the world. And other times you're like, I got the dumbest dog in the world, right?
I've definitely seen the dumbest dog.
You've seen the dumbest dog in the world?
Yeah.
But some dogs are very smart.
Yeah. Well, that's wild, though, that
Seems
they...
like these guys.
That's wild. They would only have a week to learn 6 toys, and then they're going to have to learn 12 toys after that competition. That's like, I thought that they had already known the names and they just come in and do it. Like, they only have a week
They
to
got
learn.
a week to learn.
That's wild.
Yeah. I wonder how they teach them. I guess they give them a treat after, go to the Magic 8 Ball. Go to the Magic 8 Ball.
Right.
Right?
There's
okay, now you have
always
a
a treat involved.
Right. It has to be. Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.